Hello and welcome to Bloke on the Range. Now on Saturday the 2nd of November 2019 we're hosting the first ever Bloke on the Range bolt action challenge here at our beautiful ranges in Thun in Switzerland. Now lots of people have been asking, particularly Swiss people, where we're shooting non-Swiss rifles, and the answer is here in Thun. And in fact you can come to this competition and shoot them yourself if you live in Switzerland, or if you happen to be passing through, or even if you happen to be here for the purpose of this match, if you're mad enough. Anyway, it's a bit of a celebration of the bog standard infantry rifle and the sort of square range shooting that was done more than half a century ago back in the day. Of course, the fire is a bit of British inspiration, bit of Swiss inspiration, and I'll go through that in a minute. But first of all, rifles wise, no sniper rifles with scopes taken off, maximum caliber 8mm for range reasons, no modern fancies like aperture sights, no packed barrels, so I can't bring my service rifle B along, sling as issued of the correct type attached to the rifle at 2 points, and basically a bog standard as issued rifle, nothing fancier than that. So what we're going to do today is I'll explain the course of fire and we're going to test it, because we can't just go into this totally blind. There's been no competition like this done in Switzerland. We're using targets at 3 different ranges, and it should be a lot of fun. So the course of fire to start with. So we're going to start at 100 meters on a P5 pistol target. And why a P5 pistol target? Because we've got them. We can make these up easily. This is the only paper B4 rifle target we've got, and it's a demonstrator. We can't shoot at it, so tough. Right, so at 100 meters, 2 individually marked sighters, and then a series of 10 shots in a minute with a compulsory reload of at least 5 rounds by means of a stripper clip or loose rounds. We can probably supply stripper clips for practically anything anyone could conceivably bring along if they don't have their own. Just for info, the maximum scoring ring is 5 here, and that's 15 centimeters wide. Now we're going to do that bareback, so yes to a tunic or whatever, no use of a sling, no use of a rest. So this is this is similar to one of the pre-World War I practices, but it's not as difficult as practice 22, which is 15 rounds in a minute with 2 compulsory reloads. We want people who've not had the opportunity to shoot rapid fire to shoot rapidly enough, but nothing that's going to end up with people spraying rounds all over the countryside because they haven't had the opportunity before. To move on to the second stage, you need to make sure that all of your shots that you fire land at least in the scoring zone, and it's a meter wide scoring zone, so this shouldn't be an issue. But this is just to avoid bullets going places they shouldn't elsewhere. So at 200, we're going to do the same thing again, but with no further sighters. So you've got to rely on the sight adjustment, and to be honest, the difference for pretty much any of the military cartridges of the era, really, it's going to be about 3 minutes of angle, plus minus, depending on how fast it goes. But as a general rule, that's not far off. Your rifle should have a range slider anyway, or you need to learn your hold unders if you've got a lowest sight setting of 300 or 400. So we're going to do the same thing again, 10 rounds in a minute with a compulsory reload, but you can use the sling if you want to, but you must use it as a 2-point sling. So if you've got one of these fancy things, no sticking your arm through the loop, and the reason is that is not a practical proposition to do in combat, so no, basically that is ruled out. If after 200 you've had all the shots you fired land within the scoring zone, a meter again. Oh, and by the way, the 5 ring at 200 becomes 2.7 minutes of angle, so I suspect that nobody is going to shoot them all in the middle there. And then when we go up to 300, we're on the classic B4 electronic targets, and we're limited to what's already programmed into the boxes. What's gone on up to now is British inspired, this one is Swiss inspired. So what you're going to shoot is 3 individually scored shots that will be scored back to you on the TV screen, one by one. Then you're going to shoot a string of 3 shots in 30 seconds, starting loaded, and that will be signaled to you at the end of the 3 shots. And then finally, we're going to do 6 rounds in 1 minute And to balance this, for people who have an internal 5-round magazine and can't necessarily top off, for instance Mannlicher 95 straight pulls, you can't load them 5+1 because it's Swiss inspired and the box is programmed for 6 rounds. To balance it all out, what we're going to do is we're going to start with 1 round loaded, and then you shoot that and then reload with a stripper clip again. We have to balance it out. I mean, we could just say, well, the Swiss rifles and the British rifles have an advantage because it's obvious. The real answer to the very important question of who needs more than 5 rounds anyway is someone who wants to shoot 6 rounds or more in quick succession, and this is the case here. Then you'll get them signaled back to you. Now you can either shoot bare, no sling, you can use a sling, or you can use a sandbag rest, because we want to try and ensure that people actually keep all their shots on the target. So that's it, that's the course of fire. We're going to try this now, shooting it in order, because there's not time to go down to the butts and back up again. What we'll do in the competition is that whoever's running the butts will take photos of the shots of the scoring series at 100 and at 200, so that the competitors can use that to adjust their sights, to make it, or adjust their point of aim, or whatever. You're not shooting through the course of fire blind until you get to 300. So there you go. Let's get on with that. So first of all, I get 2 sighting shots at 100, individually scored back by waving discs. Now, I'm not using the battle sight because I want to use it as a datum for 200, rather than just relying on the markings. And also the smaller aperture, although you can shoot as well with the big one, it gives you confidence, it makes life easier for you, sort of as part of the psychological game. So the lowest setting on this, actually, the lowest marking is 200, but you go 3 clicks down, it's 100. That's going to be close enough for government work. So let's go. So 4 high left. Also 4 high left. So that was 2 4s high left, so I'm going to have to aim a little bit right and down some. So now 10 rounds rapid with a compulsory reload.
Shooter ready?
Yep.
Go! Ten! 20! 30! 40! 50!
So there we go. Hopefully we will get a photograph from the butts showing where that goes, where that went. So here's 100. My 2 sighters went in here, so I aimed about there, and the shots went in a nice sort of 5-inch group there. Now, if that had been centered, that would have been really nice. That would have been 50 points. But as it stands, we are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points off of 50, so 42 points. Okay, so that was a bit annoying because the The sighters were deceptive. I aimed off perfectly for them, and the group went exactly where I aimed. So I've got my sights set 3 clicks higher for 200, and now we're going to do the same again. No sighters though, and I will use the sling because I can.
Shooting ready.
Yeah.
Go. Ten. 20. 30. 40. 50.
Well, that target is kind of small at that distance to aim at the middle of. Well, we shall have a look at the result. So down in 200 meters, I think I'm fairly happy with this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the 4, and 1 in the 3 there. So we are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 off, which is 43 points, and the group's pretty centered. I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, I think 200 went pretty well. Now up to 300 now, starting with 3 individual shots, and because I'm on the B4 target, I'll be doing my usual trick of setting the sights so that I can aim at the bottom, just underneath the bottom of the figure. So my sights here are set to 1 click below 400 yards, and we'll see what happens on the target. Now just as a reminder, K31 rear sights are set for this hold at 300. 100 and 200 are what's called flex, so point of aim, point of impact. 300 meters is set to be 30 centimeters high, and that's what I'm reproducing on my rear sight there. So 3 individual shots off a bag. Yep, well, I'm not going to adjust on that basis, so next up is a string of 3 shots in 30 seconds.
Shooting ready. Go. 10. 20.
So these will now be reported back on the board. So we have a bull, low right, just off the bull, high left, and the last one. Yep, I'm pretty confident of this sight setting, to be honest. So the last one, to compensate for those who have inadequate magazines. 6 rounds in 1 minute, with a compulsory reload with at least 5 rounds. So
shoot it ready. Go.
wait.
10. 20. ready.
And I can't count. Oh, bad. Oh, bad. What happened there? Well, that's unfortunate. I guess that I must have shifted my alignment or something, not got my alignment right or something, or I started pushing my shoulder into it. Anyway, that would have been a nice group if it had been in the middle, but yeah, total of 37 points at this distance. So yeah, I think that was an interesting course of fire. It's certainly a nice mixture. Shame that my last series on 300 it was pushed down and left. That was probably me getting tense and pushing into it or something, but it happens. Let's hope I can do better on the 2nd of November. Now, if you want to come on the 2nd of November, we set up an email address for this event. The address is on the screen and in the description below, and there'll also be links to an English and a German version of the document with the what, where, when, why, how, the course of fire, where it's taking place, and so on. It's going to cost 20 francs an entry. If there's enough range space, you'll be able to make multiple entries, but each entry must be with a different rifle, because otherwise it would be like practicing or something. Depending on the number of people, we'll either see if we can get the catering open, or we'll just have a grill, so there'll be something to eat at lunchtime, probably starting around 9 AM, and depending on the number of people, it'll either finish at lunchtime or it'll go on till the late afternoon. Well, we shall have to see. Now, for those who survived this far, we're going to just quickly go into a bit more detail of what rifles and ammunition you can and can't use here. Maximum caliber is 8mm, effectively 8x50R, 8x56R. Hand loads, yes, fine. Must be either an FMJ or a match tip like Sierra Match King. It can be open tip like a Match King, but what's not allowed here is hunting bullets, soft points of any kind, hollow points, proper hollow points, so not the match ones, but proper hunting hollow points. Hunting ballistic tips are no, monoliths are no. Steel core is a big no. That is illegal in Switzerland. Really, just don't. Armor piercing, no. Tracer, no. Basically, FMJ or Sierra Match King type. We would rather people stayed in the spirit of the original and shot factory ammunition, but we're not going to make a fuss about this. I mean, I shot S&B 180 grain. You want to bring hand loads? Yeah. Knock yourself out. All that's important is that we have fun, we revisit old style shooting, and have a nice day of it. So if you're interested, send us an email with your details, and we'll see you there. Bye.